Hey everyone, so I'm about to do divination on the whole Nolan Wells situation because somebody asked me to. I'm about to do a reading, pull some cards, and give my spiritual opinion based off the energy that I'm seeing with the whole situation. So the questions that I wanted to focus on is, was there foul play in the passing of Nolan Wells? Was there foul play? We'll start off with that. Number one question: was there foul play? I'm shuffling the cards and asking the ancestors and the spirit guides to reveal the truth to me, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I ask that the ancestors open up my eyes to see the truth, open up my ears to hear the truth, open up my consciousness to know the truth, and open up my mouth to speak the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Let's begin. I am shuffling the cards. I ask that the truth and nothing but the truth be revealed, so help me God. With Nolan Wells, what is the energy surrounding the case? We had a second autopsy. I know what's going on with that energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the energy? Truth. What is the truth? What is the truth? So I'm going to start off, I know I said surrounding the case, but we're going to kind of go take a step back because what is being revealed, what I'm seeing, the energy that I'm picking up on is that I feel that there was some kind of conflict. That's a conflict within friendship, conflict within people, argument or disagreement about certain things and things like that. And I feel like this was an opportunity to kind of act on a situation that previously happened. So I do feel like Nolan was blindsided as far as like, how people really felt about him, the energy surrounding that, people smiling in your face, but have like hidden motives or animosity and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's what kick-started everything leading up to his death with that situation. So that is the energy that I'm picking up on. Now, as far as like with the justice system and all that kind of stuff, there's definitely an injustice. And also there's also deception as far as like what the truth is and what's really going on. And I feel like there's lack of truth in a majority of the areas, and it's not just like one area, or it's not just with the state of Mississippi. I feel like there's how do I say this? I just feel like not everybody's telling the truth. There's way more to the story than what meets the eye, and because there's way more to the story than what meets the eye, I don't feel that because you have the justice card in reverse. I don't feel like Nolan Wells, the situation with that. I feel like it's going to not go in the way of justice. I just feel like because of this back and forth, because of lack of evidence, because of this can turn into a cold case. That is what it's moving towards, and that's very unfortunate, but that's what it's looking like. As far as like with the overall case, with the police department, we know they're lying. We know the state of Mississippi. We already know they are racist as hell. However, because of lack of cooperation, because of lack of honesty, and because there is like some behind the scenes of people trying to corroborate each other's story, cover up for each other and all that kind of stuff, it does not look like it's going to go in the way that it needs to go, which is justice. I see an injustice with the situation. I see evidence being presented and situations being presented, but it does not, let's just say accountability is not going to it's not going to play out in this situation. It looks like it's going to end up being a cold case, or maybe like something lesser versus a homicide and somebody getting the blame for it. They are working hard behind the scenes not to get blamed for this. And they also know that there is a lot of eyes on this matter, and they are making sure that they don't get blamed for this. They don't go down for this. And there's a lot of people helping a lot of people. And that's the unfortunate situation with this. But it is, that's what it's looking like. There's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of that. Unfairness, lack of accountability, dishonesty, a lack of punishment for the real perpetrators. And I feel like it would be years down the line is when more of the truth comes out. But right now, in this moment, even with the updated autopsy, even with the throat being missing, the stomach being missing, whatever body parts, toxicology, all that kind of stuff, I feel like they will end up making sure that there's no accountability. That's lack of accountability is what I see. But let me shuffle some more just to kind of close this out. 2, 3, 4. Betrayal. Like we said, betrayal from a lot of people. Let me pause this because I wanted to do an energy reading on the parents. 1 second. Actually, I'm not going to go in the way that I was thinking about going in with the whole motherly energy, the mother instinct and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like there's an energetic disconnection. It could mean that, maybe, Nolan and his mom were not close, but I'll just leave it at that because, of course, that's not where I want to take the attention. But I will say that, Nolan was betrayed. He was betrayed by his so-called friends. And I feel like there was something that happened before and it led to them going on the boat trip situation and also his passing. And, of course, his death was a homicide. Like, let's be real. Then people lying like, oh, I don't know, he drowned, he didn't know. Then people, they're lying. They're lying. There's deception written all over this reading. And conflict, issues, all that kind of stuff. Because I also feel like the people in the background the people all involved in the background of all this kind of stuff. Everybody is trying to save their own ass. They're not trying to go down for this. They're not going to cooperate. And if it were me and that were my child, it would have to take the strength of God to come down to stop me from going after these people about my kid. Because I am a black mother and I have a black child and I don't play about my kid. But yeah, if I were them, if I was the family, I would hire a root worker to do a spell or working for the truth to come out, the whole truth, to reveal everything, to get people to speak, to get the children or the other kid or the other boys, they're not kids, I think they're all 18, to have diarrhea of the mouth and to speak the truth. I would make them spill all the tea, talk about what really happened, blame who, turn people against each other. If it were me as a spiritualist, that's how I would do the work, where people start speaking, people start telling the truth. I bind everybody up, I hold their asses together, and I would make them talk, make them speak the truth. And usually that would, because there's so many moving parts and stuff like that, spells like that kind will take a little time, but I would make sure everybody starts speaking, everybody turn against each other. Video evidence, because I do feel like that the situation was recorded. I'd make sure that comes out in a timely manner. If it were up to me, if it were my child, if I were in that position. But like I said, one day, if it were up to me, that's how I would do it. I'm going to hold everybody accountable spiritually. I'll send some demons after your ass and make you think about your behavior and make you feel real guilty about it, where you want to speak the truth, where you start telling on other people, where you start telling on yourself. But yeah, this whole situation is crazy. It's crazy. They did kill that child. And I felt like it was one of the boys who had a problem with him prior. And this was an opportunity to kind of, handle that problem. And also, I'll just leave that at that. But anyways, y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I feel like I've been talking my ass off for a long time, but yeah.